Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary, on the page headed 17 May 2157. She wrote, "Today, Tommy found a real book." So Margie has a habit of writing in her diary. Now she has written the date 17 May 2157. So this is a story which is written in the future and it is 2020. So it is 137 years from now. Okay. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. Now Margie has seen this book, very old book, which his brother Tommy had found. Now Margie is recollecting that her grandfather once told her when he was small, his grandfather said that all the stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages, which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen. So Margie never had seen a book, and she found the old book and it was really yellow and crinkly. Crinkly means with many folds or lines in a wrinkled way. Now it was really funny for Margie because she has never seen that words that this stand still. She has always found it moving because she was learning on a computer where words were not standing still, they were supposed to move on a screen. And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had when they read it the first time. "Gee," said Tommy, "what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away, I guess. Our television screen must have had 1,000,000 of books on it, and it is good for plenty more. I would not throw it away." So Tommy is saying that what a waste, that why do you have to keep a book? When you have read it, just throw it away. No need of keeping it. Because television screen has a capacity of holding so many books, 1,000,000 of books, right? "Same with mine," said Margie. She was 11 and had not seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. She said, "Where did you find it?" So Margie was 11 years old and Tommy was 13 years old. "In my house," he pointed without looking because he was busy reading. "In the attic." "What's it about?" "School. Attic is a space just below the roof which is used for storing things." Margie was scornful. "School? What's there to write about school? I hate school." Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. Scornful means showing you find something worthless. So she thought that what is there to write about school? Come on, school is no fun. You cannot write about school because she always hated school. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. So the mechanical teacher, the Margie was having a mechanical teacher who was teaching her and giving tests in geography subject. Now she was not having a real teacher like we have in these days, but instead she was having a mechanical teacher. He was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. So this is the county inspector who is going to fix the mechanical teacher. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. So the inspector came to fix the mechanical teacher. He also gave Margie an apple and he took the teacher apart obviously, to fix it. Margie had hoped he would not know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right. And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. Now Margie here is hoping that I wish the mechanical teacher never gets back into its shape again because she hated learning. But the inspector that had come, he was a genius at his work and he fixed it. That was not so bad. The part Margie hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers. She always had to write them out in a punch code. They made her learn when she was 6 years old. And the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. So the part that she hated the most was putting or submitting the homework and test papers. The inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. He said to her mother, "It is not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick." Geared means adjusted to a particular standard or level. So the inspector is saying to her mother, "Don't worry, it's not her fault. She's doing quite well. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. So if she was supposed to study something that was supposed to be of class 6, so she was reading the subject which belonged to class 9 students. So she was not able to match the pace of that higher standard, because of which she was doing worse and worse and worse in her geography test. Those things happen sometimes. I have slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory." And he patted Margie's head again. So the inspector is saying to her mother that don't worry, I have brought the level down of the mechanical teacher and she is doing quite well. Her progress is okay, satisfactory. And to convince or to motivate the Margie, he patted the Margie's head. Margie was disappointed. She had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So she said to Tommy, "Why would anyone write about school?" Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes. "Because it's not our kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago." So the Margie is really curious that why they have written about school. There's nothing to write about school. But Tommy says that, "Are you stupid? They're not writing about our school. It's an old kind of school which existed hundreds of years ago." He added loftily, pronouncing the word carefully. Centuries ago, Margie was hurt. Well, I don't know what kind of school they had or had all the time ago. Loftily here means in a superior way. Okay. Sure, they had a teacher, but it was not a regular teacher. It was a man. A man? How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. A man is not smart enough. Sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. He knows almost as much. I betcha. Betcha means I bet you. It's an informal way of saying I'm sure. Okay. Margie was not prepared to dispute that. She said, I would not want a stranger man in my house to teach me. Tommy screamed with laughter. You don't know much, Margie. The teachers did not live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. And all the kids learned the same thing. Sure, if they were the same age. So Margie is very curious that how a strange man will come to my house and teach me. I will not like that. So Tommy is saying that, oh, you're such a kid. No, it's not like that. A strange man will come to your house. All students will go into the school, which is a special building where kids and teachers meet, like we have it in nowadays. But this is very strange for Margie because she has not heard of anything like this. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each body and girl. Each boy. Sorry. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. Just the same, they did not do it that way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. I did not say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools. Now Margie is really, she's liking the old kind of school and she's not liking, she's kind of confused. So once Tommy said, okay, if you have so much issues with the old school, don't read it. It's okay, I will read the book. And Margie said, I didn't say I didn't like it. So Margie is really curious to know about the funny schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called, Margie, school. So it was time for Margie to attend her school. Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. Now, said Mrs. Jones. And it's probably time for Tommy too. Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? Maybe, he said nonchalantly. Nonchalantly means he is not showing any enthusiasm or interest. He walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. Margie went into the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday, because her mother said little girls learned better if they learned at regular hours. The screen was lit up and it said, today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fractions. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. So this is something that the mechanical teacher is saying. So we have human teachers, they are full of fun, their interest, their voice modulation is different. But the mechanical teacher that Margie had, it had the same tone of saying everything. It was never showing any kind of interest or any kind of modulation of voices. Margie did so with a sigh. Sigh means exhaling a deep breath, showing that you're not interested or showing that you're upset. She was thinking about the old schools they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. So Margie is lost into the imagination of the old kind of schools. All the kids from whole neighborhood came, laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day. They learned the same things, so they could help one another with homework and talk about it. And the teachers were people. The mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen. When we had fractions 1 by 2 and 1 by 4, so mechanical teacher is busy teaching, but Margie is busy thinking or imagining what the old school looked like. Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. She was thinking about the fun they had. So students, this is a story of Margie and Tommy where they're discussing about the old kind of schools, the schools that we have. And it was really, really interesting for Margie to know because she was hating her school because mechanical teacher was of no fun. It's very boring because according to Margie, it was a very big, fat, ugly and black. So Margie is taken aback and she is imagining how the schools were so much fun, where students met from different neighborhood. They came together, they studied together, they had fun together, and that is why she is thinking the fun they had means the fun the children had in the past. So students, this was all about the story. I'm sure you must have understood it.